Hey everybody, ABC10 meteorologist Brendan Menchef here. We're going to talk about this weekend because we have some early season fire danger to talk about, and that includes a fire weather watch. For Saturday, it's going to be just fine. It's going to be cooler than where we've been for a few days this week, right? We're back in the 70s on Saturday, so cooler with some onshore wind as well. It's going to feel pretty nice Saturday, kind of a good day to get out and get your plans done. Sunday, not all that bad if you're only considering temperature. It is going to be gusty out of the north, but there's a combination of factors occurring on Sunday that is prompting not only the Weather Impact Alert Day, but a fire weather watch from the National Weather Service here in Sacramento. We're going to have strong northerly gusts. We're going to have low relative humidity. And fuels in the valley are starting to dry, so that is leading to that elevated fire danger. Here's the pattern that's bringing us these fire weather conditions. High pressure off to our west, and then to our east, we're going to have this low pressure dropping into the Great Basin. This is going to tighten up that pressure gradient between the high and the low, and that's going to create strong northerly gusts at the surface. For Sunday and into Monday as well, before that low pressure starts to move out, that kind of slackens that pressure gradient, so the winds aren't as strong. And then as we go into next week, high pressure will build overhead, and that's going to bring us much warmer temperatures back in the 90s. But between the end of this week and the start of next week, we are looking at that fire danger. So a fire weather watch begins at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday and continues until 8 p.m. in the evening on Monday for the entirety of the valley and foothills below 1,000 feet. So this is a low elevation event. This is not something where we're concerned really about large fires up in the high country. This is something really that's only a danger in the valley at this point. Let's talk about what a fire weather watch means. It's issued several days before fire weather conditions will be present. So for those fire weather conditions, right, we're pretty familiar with those gusty winds, specifically northerly winds and low relative humidity. Now, the next step up from that is a red flag warning. That's issued when those fire weather conditions are imminent or occurring. We may or may not see this upgraded, but generally we do see that step up from a watch to a warning. There's even kind of a higher impact than just a red flag warning, although it is pretty rare, the particularly dangerous situation red flag warning or PDS red flag warning. Again, these are rarer. We have had some recently on, of course not this year, but within the last couple of years, had some on the eastern slope of the Sierra. We also had some in January of this year down in Southern California. These PDS red flag warnings are only issued when there's an extremely rare combination of fire weather conditions, right? And that means an extreme threat to life and property, and any fires that start could really grow explosively. So again, we really don't see the PDS red flag warning very often. These two are much more common. But for this time of the year in kind of mid to late May, it is somewhat unusual, not out of the ordinary per se, but we don't typically get a lot of fire weather watches or red flag warnings in the month of May here in Northern California. This event specifically is for the valley. I want to reiterate that. We're really not looking at fire danger in the high country of the Sierra or the coastal range. That's because the fuels up there, right, are a lot larger. They're trees, they're larger shrubs, right? There's not as much grass in the high country, whereas in the valley, we really don't have a lot of those trees, at least in the open spaces, right? So we're talking about grasslands that are drying out. We're talking about shrubs that dry out, and these dry out very quickly, right? Only within a few weeks of kind of our last rain event do we really start to see that drying trend. And through the month of May, we dry fairly quickly across the valley. That's why this event is for the low country and not the high country, because fuels up in the Sierra are still pretty wet. Let's time this out as we head through the weekend. Saturday's going to be fine. It'll be cooler. We are going to have some wind on Saturday, but it's going to be an onshore wind of about 15 to 25 miles per hour in the valley, and even some scattered Sierra showers, some of which could be some isolated thunderstorms. Just something to keep in mind if you're going to be in the high country this weekend. Now, once we get into Sunday, that's when we start to see those fire weather conditions develop. The winds are going to switch from onshore, right, so like a westerly wind, to a northerly wind overnight Saturday into Sunday, and really starting to pick up just after sunrise on Sunday morning. So that wind shift occurs. Gusts are going to pick up 25 to 35 miles per hour, and the relative humidity values in the valley are going to drop to about 10 to 25%. Overnight, Sunday into Monday, we're going to continue to see gusts 25 to 35 miles per hour, especially in the Sacramento Valley and especially along and west of Interstate 5. We'll see this on Futurecast in a second, but we're just kind of timing it out right now. On Monday, we'll continue to see those winds. We could even see some slightly stronger winds Monday, gusting 25 to 45 miles per hour, and humidity 10 to 20%. So Monday may even be a slightly kind of higher risk day than Sunday. Still a few days away, so we'll time that out as it gets closer, but definitely that Sunday through Monday time frame is when we're going to have those fire weather conditions present. So let's take a look now at Futurecast, starting with the winds. Delta breeze Friday evening. It'll be a fairly nice cool down, but then really for much of Saturday, it is going to be an onshore wind. This is Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we still see southerly, southwesterly gusts, right, of 20 to 30 miles per hour, and some wind in the high country through Saturday as well. In fact, it could gust over 40 at times in South Lake Tahoe on Saturday. Notice, though, that direction of the wind is onshore across much of Northern California. Out in San Francisco, gusts out of the west at about 40 miles per hour. It's not until we get overnight Saturday into Sunday that we see those winds shift and become northerly. You see the fire weather watch there kicking in Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and winds are going to pick up out of the north as Sunday goes on. You see widespread gusts 25 to 35, that red coloring there. You see that kind of shading there between 30 and 40, so that would suggest some 35 mile per hour winds across parts of the Sacramento Valley and San Joaquin Valley as well. For overnight Sunday into Monday, like I said, those gusts are going to continue out of the north. Some places may see the winds taper a little bit, but my focus for the overnight hours Sunday into Monday are going to be the Sacramento Valley, especially along and west of Interstate 5, kind of that typical area where we see those really strong northerly gusts. But those winds will pick up and become more widespread going back into the daytime hours on Monday. In fact, it could be even a little bit stronger. Now you see some widespread 35 to maybe 40 or 45 mile per hour winds across the valley on Monday. So this is going to be 2 days, really 48 hours of some fire weather conditions before the winds taper across the region by the time we get after sunset on Monday. It is about 10 o'clock Monday. That fire weather watch is dropped, and you see those winds really lighten up and become even westerly in some areas. So we may even get a little bit of that delta breeze in places like Stockton and Fairfield. So that'll help to reintroduce some of those humidity values as well. Speaking of humidity, here we go. Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you see we're looking at 30 and maybe 40% relative humidity across the valley because those winds are onshore, right? So we'll have some of that overnight recovery. We'll start off Sunday morning about 6 o'clock in the morning, and you see those relative humidity values 40 to about 75% across the valley. But as the northerly winds pick up, these are drawing winds. Notice how low those humidity values get. We don't have any of that westerly component whatsoever, bringing kind of that delta ocean cooled air into the valley. So it is going to be dry and it is going to be warmer on Sunday. And you see 11% in Sacramento, 16% Stockton. I'm really looking at about 10 to 25% relative humidity values on Sunday without much overnight recovery on Monday. Some modest recovery, but only into about the 30 to 50% range. Whereas typically, right, we would see numbers closer to 70, 80% at night when we don't have those northerly winds. So that humidity will drop once again as we go through the daytime on Monday. And remember, those northerly winds could be potentially even a little stronger Monday than they are Sunday. Now we see single-digit relative humidity values in Sacramento, much closer to 10% across the valley as well. Only 11% Fairfield, 11% Stockton, and 10% in Modesto. So we're looking at those strong northerly winds, those low relative humidity values, and drying feels in the valley. That's why we've got those weather impact alert days for Sunday and Monday for the high grass fire danger. Be fire ready and stay alert. Good time to pack the go bag. We haven't really had these days yet this year, so that go bag may have been unpacked as we've gone through the winter time. Haven't really had to think much about fire danger for several months, which of course is always a good thing, but now we have to shift our focus. We're not in that rainy season anymore. Time to start thinking about fire, so go ahead and repack that go bag. Make sure you have an emergency plan, you have an evacuation plan. Make sure you and the rest of your family knows what to do in case you are asked to evacuate. If you're going to pack a go bag, remember the 5 Ps. We talk about this a lot. It's always good to refresh, though. Number 1, most importantly, people. 1 bag per person in your household. So if there's 5 people in your house, you should have 5 go bags with some belongings in there, a change of clothes, perhaps the necessities, right, for each person in your household. For any pets, you may want at least 1 bag for pets, if not 2. For the pet go bags, maybe that's something you can go ahead and put in the car the day before, right? Something that you don't need to grab and go. It's already in there. Make sure you got some pet food in there, their favorite toys, that kind of thing. Everything that they need for the pets, same story with people. So 1 and 2 are the most important. Number 3, papers. This would be important documents, insurance documents, birth certificates, marriage licenses, passports, whatever it may be. If it's an important document to you, make sure it's with you. We say this, and hopefully it never, you never need it, but make sure you have those documents where if you were to lose everything, that you have the really important stuff that can help you get back on your feet. Number 4, prescriptions, but it could be any sort of medical device that you may need as well. So make sure you got your prescription medications, make sure you got any medical devices with you. If you have portable oxygen, make sure that that is ready to leave with you as well. Last, is certainly not the most important. There's a reason why this is number 5 and not higher up. It's photos. This is any sentimental item that can fit in your go bag and not slow you down, right? You don't want it to be something heavy that's going to cost you time getting out the door. Photos are a good example of this, right? Things that maybe aren't digitized, that you can't easily replace, or maybe you can't replace. Little trinkets or knickknacks. If it's a big item, you probably don't want to bring it unless you can already put it in the car the day before, and it's not going to take up space for any of the other things above it. So remember, sentimental items are important, but they are the least important of the things on this list. People and pets are the absolute most important. Make sure everyone's got a go bag and ready to go. Remember to review your evacuation plans as well, your emergency plans, where you're going to go if you are asked to leave. Let's take a look at the regional forecast now. For the foothills in Sierra, remember I said we could have some scattered showers on Saturday, some isolated thunderstorms potentially up there as well. Then for Sunday, we are not going to be looking at those rain chances anymore. Temperatures are going to rebound a little bit, but temperatures warm up quite significantly by the time we get towards Tuesday and Wednesday. In the valley, we've got the weather impact alerts for that fire danger. So temperatures are going to drop, especially on Saturday with that onshore wind. We're going to be in those upper 70s. By Sunday, those winds pick up. We're going to be in the low 80s in the valley. So that's a weather impact alert for the fire danger. Similar story on Monday. Notice how much temperatures rebound on Monday, though. So we may even add in temperature to one of the things that we're watching that could potentially increase fire danger. It's not 90s, right? It's not 100. It's not a huge increase, but certainly it is going to be 7 to 10 degrees warmer between Sunday and Monday, but we're still going to have the strong winds and the low relative humidity. Beyond the fire danger, temperatures really start to warm low to mid 90s through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, potentially lingering in towards next weekend as well, but certainly all eyes are on Sunday and Monday for this early season fire danger. Be sure to keep it tuned to ABC10. It's a free app. You can download it wherever you stream. We've got a weather playlist there with extended forecasts, weather explainers, weather, water, and climate specials up there as well. Again, you can find all those things and the latest forecasts on the ABC10 Plus app. Thanks for watching.